Hello and welcome to the show. I am here on Forza 6 with another autocross car build. My vehicle today, well, people wanted to see me have a go with a sensible front-wheel drive car. A lot of people wanted to see me try a classic Mini. Now, I tried to build one, and they are undrivable. In A-Class, keeping the car front-wheel drive, which is what we have to do for this series, you get about 560-something horsepower, and that much horsepower through the front wheels with such a tiny wheelbase on an autocross course is awful. Just absolutely terrible. So I'm not using the classic Mini. I am not fighting that car. Instead, what I've gone for is the John Cooper Works Mini. As much as I dislike the modern Minis, this is a bloody good car. It is a really very, very good car to drive standard. So I'm curious to see how this one will do when we put it up into A-Class and ask it to deal with an autocross course. Because, yeah, autocross is a pretty demanding discipline for cars. And I'm not sure how these A-Class front-wheel drive cars are going to fare. I'm hoping it'll be pretty good around the course, but yeah, I genuinely don't quite know how it's going to deal with it. I'm hoping we're not going to have too ridiculous amount of power in this almost. I don't want it to be getting 500 horsepower in this going through the front wheels and then trying to deal with an autocross course and, you know, the narrow gates and so on. I think that could be quite problematic, potentially, for a vehicle like this. So, yeah, we'll have to wait and see what it comes out as. Of course, going through all of the handling parts first. These are the important things for autocross. We are going to buy the suspension. Thank you, game. Yeah, we're gonna want to get as much handling parts in this car as we possibly can. Just looking at weight-wise on this, we're probably going to be about 2,200-ish by the time we're finished, which is pretty good. Yeah, because the roll cage is, of course, going to add some weight onto the vehicle. We will now take off a decent amount of it, 2,300 with the weight reduction, but things like the exhaust and some of the other parts are going to dump some more weight out of the vehicle as well, because we're going to go for a gearbox. It's going to save some weight and clutch and so on. So yeah, looks like we're going to be into the 2,200s by the time we are finished, which is always good. Definitely light cars are doing well on the autocross builds. The top of the table is all from very, very light cars. So yeah, we want it to be as light as possible. Onto the engine. Now, engine swap wise, we do have a couple of options for this car. Not that I really want to use either of them. The Turbo Rally engine is incredibly difficult to drive in front-wheel drive cars. Doesn't really work with front-wheel drive. There's just too much torque and power, and the front-wheel drive cars can't quite deal with it. We found that out with the touring cars we ran a while back on Forza 5. It's very difficult to work with a front-wheel drive car. The V6 it's not a bad engine. It is slightly heavier, and I don't think it's particularly necessary, in all honesty. With the standard engine, I'm hoping at least that we can get this standard engine up to the required sort of PI. And yeah, I mean, considering that's making it, we're adding 21 horsepower, and that's a lot of PI we're adding. So I think we probably should be okay as far as PI goes. Right, let's jump through here. The car is turbocharged. The Mini is turbocharged. I can't change it. Now, turbocharging is perhaps not quite ideal for autocross, but we've got to go with it. We don't have a choice when it comes to this car. So, yeah, there is potential for possibly turbo lag issues. I don't think they're going to be a massive problem with this car particularly. We will have to wait and see, though. Alright, so now we have got, eventually, can we get a turbo? We can, actually that works out pretty neatly for me. We can put the turbo on the car, and that gives us 1 PI, so we can go and put the driveline in the vehicle. There we go. I will just check. You never know. We might be able to get a flywheel upgrade in, but it's unlikely. There we go, yeah. £1. Well, I mean, we might as well put that in there. I tend to steer clear of these two because, yeah, the intercooler can add some decent power. In fact, this one, it doesn't add bugger all power, but it also adds a fair amount of weight. I mean, you can see there it adds, what is that, almost 40 pounds, I think that's adding on there for 8 horsepower. It's not bloody worth it. So, yeah, 336 horsepower, 352 foot-pounds of torque. pretty light. I'm hoping the car does pretty well. I'm hoping we don't have too much understeer. That is the big concern with the Mini. So we are here at Hockenheim, ready to run the Mini through the Autocross course. I'm going to get 3 attempts to set as fast a time as possible with this car. Our current leader is the Alfa Romeo 4C with a time of 2 minutes 6.9. I would be pretty surprised if the Mini got up towards that time. That is a very, very fast time from the Alfa. I would perhaps expect this car to go under the 210s. I'm not sure this is going to quite be running with the very front running cars. It's all going to be how much understeer, how much wheel spin problems we get with this Mini, how well we can deploy the power in this car. I mean, the Cooper Works Mini is a very, very nice car to drive from standard, but we have upped the horsepower by 150-ish. Yeah, we have race tyres, we have plenty of grip, hopefully available in this car, but it is all about how we deal with the understeer. We are not that nice through that through that fast change of direction. We got a wheel on the grass and just dragged ourselves off the course completely there. Now there is another issue as well that we may well see from this car, and that is cold rear tyres, especially for the first couple of corners. That is where we're going to have some real issues. I mean, everything else, get turned through there. Everything else has rear-wheel drive, four-wheel drive cars. Sure, the very first gate you come across, yeah, you may have some issues with slightly cold tyres, but they very quickly warm up. Whereas, the front wheels are doing everything in this car, so them tyres tend to get heated up very quickly, which often means you can have quite a loose rear end for the early parts of the lap. And that is a small concern with this car, and it wasn't particularly nice through that opening fast change of direction. Now through here, now we should be okay as far as tyres go. I mean, we're not doing too badly with understeer in this car. It's not terrible, but it is something that I am aware of. Especially trying to get the power down through here. You just start feeling that the car is wanting to understeer quite a lot. I mean, there is a lot of power available in this vehicle for the front wheels to try to be dealing with. Oh, careful now. May have, I could have probably done with a little bit slower through all the way into that section. Get myself sorted out a little bit neater in the Mini. I mean, it's not a terrible car to drive, but it really, really does like spinning its wheels up through here. I'm trying to be really careful, while still trying to get the most out of the car. We definitely hit at least one gate. I'm not sure if we hit any more than that. But yeah, first run with the Mini, not the most impressive of times. On to the second attempt for the Mini. I have got to, try and not make any mistakes, don't clip any gates, of course. It's dealing with the wheel spin that I think is perhaps going to be the biggest problem with this car. I mean, we get it off the line, it's not terrible. It's just trying to get on the power after the gates. You either have to wait so long to get on the power and be so careful trying to gradually get the power on, or you just end up spinning the wheels. Whereas with the fastest cars we've had, the likes of the Alfa, the likes of even the Mazda to an extent, you could get on the power very, very quickly out of the gate and have you had no traction issues. Whereas this is just sat spinning its wheels and understeering. So I'm not sure front wheel drive is really the drivetrain to go for this sort of thing. Certainly not in A class. I think in A class the cars are just too powerful for this to really work. I've missed that completely. I've pushed that far too hard under brakes through there and can't make the corner. See through here, now that is flat out in the NSX. I cannot do it. I had to try it seeing as the run was ruined. I can't do it flat out. I mean, that's been flat out in all of the sort of the 2 minute 7 cars that have gone around here. It's been flat through there. This is actually going perhaps even slightly slower than some of the other cars that have attacked it. It's just understeer. It is all we get through that part of the course. I mean, it does change direction very well through here. I mean, it's very nice through that kind of section when I'm not on power, when I'm not worrying about the wheels spinning and so on. Changes direction very, very well, but it's just this constant wheel spin, this constant understeer as you're trying to carry that corner speed and get on the throttle through there. It's just, I think we've just got too much power for a front-wheel drive car, and we're asking too much of it to compete with some of the cars that we've seen. I mean, I have no doubt I can get this around the course cleanly and everything. It's not a problem, and it's not a terribly bad car to drive. You know, the rear end isn't twitchy as you know, with the cold tyres, as I thought we may have issues with that. It's a decent enough car to drive, but what we're asking it to do, we're just asking too much of the front tyres, even with race tyres. You know, yeah, we've got maximum width for race tyres on here. We're still asking them just too much, I think. At a course like this, yeah, we made hit a few gates on that one. It's a little difficult to go quickly through some of these gates with this Mini. On to the final attempt for the Cooper Works Mini. I think perhaps my best way to go with this car is honestly a little bit more caution with this. Got to try and get the wheel spin really under control, and perhaps being a little bit more cautious through the gates could probably yield a better lap time if I can just be a bit smoother with this car, as it really is fighting the wheel spin that is the issue. The likes of the Cadillac Limo had a lot more power than this, I know, but we got saved with some massive gear ratios, whereas this, we don't have that comfort, and that is a huge scary moment. Mini, if we could not do that one again, if we could not do that again, I would be really, really appreciative. Fortunately, that's probably the worst part on this course, really, for the Mini, because we're already a couple of gates in, tyres are still cold. After that, we're a little bit more warmed up, and then we don't seem to have as many problems. Yeah, I mean, that's more oversteery through there than we saw from the Buzzbox. I actually got it better through that section this time around. I think if you get the right line, you might be not too bad. I think I'm pretty sure I still had a little bit of a confidence lift, but yeah, if you get it sorted out early enough, you have to take a slightly different line. Actually, you always got to be. You've got to preempt the understeer, so you turn in that little bit early, let the understeer then kind of drag the car slightly wide so that you take the line that you want. It's a slightly almost counterintuitive, because you're aiming to take, yeah, where you think the car is going to go, where you're kind of aiming to take the car is different to where it actually ends up. It's a slightly weird way of doing things there, but it actually worked pretty well. And again, through there, you're letting the understeer kind of draw the car out a little bit wide. If it does the trick, I don't really care. At the end of the day, we get the car around. That one there was running very close to the gate. And again, through here, these kind of sections, it just can't carry the speed, I don't think, with the car. It's not a bad vehicle, and certainly for an A-class car, you know, this is probably not that bad. But kind of what we're asking so much of the front tyres through here. We're really asking them to do such a stupid amount of work. We are going to set a pretty respectable time, though, for the Mini. A 2:10.2 is, I reckon, pretty good. I reckon that is pretty good for the Mini. It is not an easy car to drive through an autocross course. As I said, we are asking the front tyres to do so much work around this track. They just can't quite deal with it. They just can't quite deal with everything that is being thrown at them. It spends quite a lot of its time spinning the front wheel, so that it's trying to find some grip somewhere. I mean, a 2:10.2 is not too bad. Puts the car into 8th place. It is a couple of seconds down on the NSX, and I'm not particularly surprised by that whatsoever. It is a bit quicker than the Volvo 123, which I think is pretty good going from the Mini. It's quicker than the Wraith, the Fiat 8V, the Lotus Carlton, and so on. Yeah, it did respectably. Certainly, the Cooper Works Mini. I'm not sure front-wheel drive is a particularly good way to go. Certainly not with an A-class car. For autocross, I don't think front-wheel drive, you just get too much power in them, I think, for it to be a really sensible option. I mean, this is a damn good front-wheel drive car. As much as I dislike the modern Minis, as I said, the Cooper Works car is a damn good front-wheel drive car. And, yeah, with the demands of this particular type of course, I'm not sure front-wheel drive is quite the way to go. As an actual A-class car, yeah, this might not be too bad. But dealing with such tight confines around a track like this, and then we've also got the high speed tight confines as well. The understeer is just too much, really, in this car, and too much time is wasted either spinning the wheels or trying to stop the wheels from spinning. Either way, you're wasting time. Whereas the likes of the Alpha, whereas the likes of the Escort and the Mono and all of the very, very quick cars can literally, out of a corner, boot it, gone. They don't have to worry about waiting to get on the power or spinning the wheels. So, yeah, I mean, considering all of the issues that you have with this car, to be only sort of 3 seconds off the top spots, I think is pretty damn good going. Yeah, the Mini is many of the wheel spins and many of the understeer, but still a pretty damn respectable time. Anyway, that is it from me. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.